you with a sucker fish off?
Okay, well that's an interesting question. It does depend on the species of shark and also where they're found. So up in Queensland there's some divers, so I'll finish talking, but give them a wave while they're making their way in. So up in Queensland there's a few species of sharks. You might have seen them in our coral atoll display that has some smaller fish that look like they're sucking onto them. They're actually called remoras and they've got a textured plate that they use to attach themselves to the shark for a bit of protection and also for a bit of extra food as well. They get all the leftovers. So there are some species. There we go, give them a wave. They finally made it. Now we'll see the feeding commence. Now, you'll notice that Jane over there is completely covered by smooth stingrays. So if you've just joined us, come in, grab a seat on the floor if you are in front of those black seats. You'll need to be sitting down so that everyone can see. So Jane is our diver with the yellow patches and we've got Chris with the blue patches. You can see, oh, one of those little baby smooth stingrays just grabbed onto a fish there. And Jane has been completely covered by one of our largest smooth stingrays. Now, you might notice that that particular stingray is missing the end of its tail. And it actually came to the aquarium like that, so we're not 100% sure what happened to it. But it's most probable, because it's such a nice clean cut, that someone's actually cut that off. It hasn't been done by another animal. So her name's Sandy, and she can live quite happily here without her tail. But it's just as though she is here in captivity because obviously she doesn't have any form of defence now. She doesn't have her barb or her sting. So she can't really ward off any big predators like sharks that might want to eat the fur. Now these stingrays can go up to about 4 metres in length, so they are the largest true stingray in the world. They can weigh up to about 350 kilograms as well, so they certainly are the giants of the sea. Now none of ours are quite that big, but we do have a female that's over 200 kilograms in weight here. So a lot of people wonder whether these stingrays are dangerous, because they do still have their barbs on the end of their tail. But in all honesty, these particular animals really aren't dangerous. They tend to be very, very docile, so they're not aggressive, as you can see. They're really not interested in hurting our divers. Unless you were to grab onto one of these stingrays or really give it a very big fright, it certainly wouldn't be wanting to hurt you in any way. Now down there, Chris, down the bottom, you might see another small species of shark, so that's a Port Jackson shark. Looks a little bit like a leopard print, I suppose. You might wonder why these smooth stingrays are covering our divers up, getting all over their heads. Well, generally, as you can see, our stingrays have their eyes on the top of their heads and their mouths are on the bottom of their heads. So that's not really a problem in the wild. They're very closely related to sharks and they do have very keen senses, so they've got a reasonable sense of smell, but the biggest way that they're able to find their food is using an electrical sense, so they can sense the beating heart of their prey. And that means they can eat things that may or may not be hiding underneath the sand as well, because even though they might not be able to see them, they can sense that they're there. Oh, Chris just covered by stingrays there. So because the food that we're feeding our animals here isn't alive, it's no longer alive, it doesn't have a pulse anymore, which means that once the stingrays can smell that there's food, they can't sense exactly where it is. So they know the divers have got it somewhere, so they just cover them up because they know if they're somewhere all over the diver's head, they're bound to get some food. Now here's another member on our display who's come over to bother Chris for some food. This is a green sea turtle, so you may also have seen some of them up in our coral atoll. I can tell you that this particular turtle is probably the most feared animal in here, certainly by the divers. They're not scared of the sharks, but they're really not a very big fan of that turtle. Now turtles tend to have pretty poor eyesight, and they do need quite a lot of food, so in order to make sure that turtle gets its fair share, it will eat and pretty much bite anything that it thinks might be food. So that might include our divers' hands or their arms. One of our divers has even been bitten on the face by that turtle, so probably the most feared animal in here. You can see it's biting that smooth stingray over there because it thinks that it might be food. That's not a very good idea, turtle. So a little bit more food going out. Now, in our buckets, those white buckets, our divers have a variety of food. So they've probably got maybe a few mussels for some of our benthic or our bottom feeders. They've also got some whiting, which which are quite good for our big snapper and our smaller stingrays in there as well. They've also got a species of fish called a bonito, which is what they'll be feeding the larger stingrays, and some of our sharks on the other side as well if they're hungry. Might also have some squid in there as well. That's pretty common food for our animals. That's all being prepared fresh this morning. Lots and lots of hungry fish, in particular those snapper. So we've warmed up the water because it is summertime at the moment, and generally when the water is a little bit warmer, our fish tend to get a little bit more active because they're due to breed and other things, so they tend to want more food. They are a lot more active, which means they will bite a lot more as well. Oh, there we go, crispy, we're just covered with stingrays. Must be nice. So just a few more items of fish to give out to some hungry mouths.
Another bite.
That turtle is just biting the bucket. That's not very smart, turtle. You're not going to get any food doing that. So that green sea turtle is only here for a little while. It was actually washed up down in Victoria from Queensland, so sometimes they do end up stuck down here and they get a bit hungry and a bit thin. So we bring them in. This one is almost ready to go back out to the wild, so it will eventually be taken back up to Queensland and released. Looks like they're all done, so they're about to head over to the Ocean Theatre where they'll do a quick feed and then they'll come back and target some of our larger sharks. If you think you've seen enough feeding, you're very welcome to exit now. I'll just ask that you keep going through that tunnel. You can always double back a bit later